Hong Kong activist Joshua Wong is scheduled to be sentenced in September in a case brought under a Beijing-imposed national security law. This law has been criticized for stifling the city's pro-democracy movement. Wong, a former student leader, was arrested in June 2025 on suspicion of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces to endanger national security. He pleaded guilty in a separate national security case linked to an unofficial primary election and was sentenced to 4 years and 8 months in 2024. As we delve into this story, it's essential to understand the context and the implications of this national security law on Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. The law has been used to silence activists and opposition voices, raising concerns about the erosion of freedom and autonomy in the city. Wong's case is just one example of the many activists who have been targeted under this law. We'll be keeping a close eye on this story as it develops, and we'll bring you updates and analysis from our experts. In the meantime, let's take a look at some other news-making headlines today. Apple supplier Luxshare Precision Industry Company has raised $3.1 billion in its Hong Kong IPO, selling 383.5 million shares at the top of its marketed range. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We are continuing our discussion on current events, and I would like to shift our focus to two stories that caught my attention today. First, we have a developing situation in Victoria, Australia, where the police department is considering a policy change that would allow officers to conduct solo patrols, also known as one-up patrols. This move has sparked controversy among law enforcement officials and union representatives who argue that it would put officers at greater risk. According to reports, the Police Association chief executive, Wayne Gatt, has expressed concerns that this policy change would expose officers to increased danger, particularly in situations where they may be targeted by criminals or sovereign citizens. On the other hand, Victoria Police argues that this change would increase visibility and efficiency with the same number of officers on duty. It's essential to consider both perspectives and weigh the potential benefits against the potential risks. As we discuss this topic, I want to emphasize the importance of prioritizing officer safety while also acknowledging the need for effective policing strategies. In another story, former UFC lightweight champion Dustin Poirier has been making headlines after his recent arrest at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Poirier was reportedly intoxicated and threatened to fight a police officer using a racial slur in the process. However, what is notable about this situation is that Poirier has since apologized for his behavior and is seeking to make amends with the officer involved. In an interview on the Diary of a CEO podcast, Poirier expressed his admiration for the officer's professionalism and composure during the altercation. He even asked his lawyer to obtain the officer's contact information so he could reach out and apologize personally. This gesture speaks to the importance of accountability and respect for law enforcement officers who often find themselves in difficult and unpredictable situations. As we consider these two stories, it's clear that there are complex issues at play and there are no easy answers. However, by engaging in open and respectful dialogue, we can work towards finding solutions that balance the needs of law enforcement with the need to ensure officer safety and well-being. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to take a moment to discuss a developing story that's been unfolding in China. Reports have emerged of severe weather conditions, including tornadoes and storms, affecting several regions in the country. According to multiple sources, at least 11 people have lost their lives, with hundreds more injured, as a result of these extreme weather events. The central province of Hubei has been particularly affected, with thunderstorms and tornadoes causing widespread damage and disruption. In addition to the human toll, the storms have also resulted in significant property damage, with over 4,800 houses damaged and more than 20 collapsed. The rare EF2 tornado that swept through Huanggang City has been described as a rare occurrence in this region, with multiple factors contributing to its formation. Meanwhile, in southern China, officials have reported 4 deaths and 8 missing persons due to record-breaking rain from tropical storm Maisak, which has caused widespread flooding in the Guangxi region. Over 53,000 people have been evacuated, with river levels rising to alarming heights. As Chinese authorities work to respond to these disasters and provide support to those affected, it's a sobering reminder of the devastating impact that extreme weather events can have on communities. It's essential to acknowledge the efforts of emergency responders, aid workers, and local residents who are working tirelessly to mitigate the effects of these storms. Our thoughts are with the families and loved ones of those who have been impacted by these tragic events. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.